Hello, welcome back. I'm Alan with the Loud Sports Unit. We are today discussing what we've been doing at home once again, but we're going into more detail about the activities that we have been doing. So I'm joined today just by Lorcan. So Lorcan, thanks for joining. We're going to start off with what type of cardio exercises have you been doing, Lorcan?
So I've been took up running like a lot of people. I'm doing a lot more walking. So I kind of would have had a bit of fitness anyway from playing sport, play GAA. So obviously that got knocked on the head straight away when things kicked in. So yeah, I just kind of took to running the roads and mostly just doing like 5Ks and did the odd longer run of like 8 or 9K, but never really bothered to go any further than that. Um, Recently started following a training program on my um, fitness watch. I have a Garmin, so they provide training plans for running. So you can pick between 5, 10K, whatever your goals are, and you can kind of select a coaching style that suits you and the many days you want to train and things like that. So I started that. It's a bit different than the training I'd normally do. I may not finish it because now the GA is coming back sooner than we thought. So I could be back to GA training sooner than I think. So
Yeah.
although doing the 5K has been good for my fitness so far, it's probably not the best thing to continue with if I'm going to be going back to playing sport. I need to be doing more sprint based stuff then. So my training may change in terms of my cardio over the next week or two. If I find out when we're going back to training properly, I'll probably change my training to do more shorter, faster runs rather than the 5K. What about yourself? Have you been doing much cardio?
I'm like yourself. I before the lockdown and all, I would have been into me running, but I wouldn't have been able to commit to it. I've been doing probably 2 runs a week, trying to keep myself right. I've been aiming for two, well, guaranteeing two, and aiming for 3 or 4. So some weeks I get 4 in, but when the weeks I get the 4 in, I'm a little bit lower on in terms of distance. Do you know what I mean? So I'd be doing probably 2 big runs and maybe a couple of 5Ks like yourself. And when I say big runs now, I'm saying maybe 10K, maybe if I'm feeling good, maybe hit the 12, 13K. There was one day I went to 16. Um, my question maybe reverse back to you, but is also for me, um, in terms of when you're running, starting off your first 5K, it is difficult for people to get started. Um, we are promoting different stuff, different types of training methods on our Facebook page for people who want them. But for myself, when I started off running, I always kind of set out with the goal to do a 5K, whether it was walking parts or running the whole lot. I found that worked for me. I'm just wondering, what way did you start off your 5K patterns? Did you just start off walking them? Did you run them all? What way were you?
Uh, well, I've completed 5Ks over the last few years. Like I wouldn't be one for running the roads, but the odd, like when your club runs a 5K, I suppose you're one of the players. You have to show up and either be sure or partake in it or whatever. So I've done 5Ks over a few years, but kind of I was never confident in doing them. Depending on what part of the season was, with the GA you could be fitter than and do it quicker time than other parts of the year and all that. But when the lockdown came in, yeah, I kind of have a loop, by my house, and it's 4K. So I kind of just started doing 4K the first couple of runs that I did. I never did a 5K, and then I kind of just realised I was fit enough to do it. Now I know my family members are a bit different. They wouldn't be into they're not into sport and things like that, so they would have started off just running down the 1K mark on the road and then coming back again. Um, but yeah, I suppose kind of just I'm lucky enough that I had the background of being running and being fit already, that it kind of wasn't a bit as big as a stretch for me to get into it. But I noticed anytime I went to run longer, I had a big fear of not being able to do it. Like, and I didn't want to be seen walking down to 10 and then running again and things like that. But I find that more people can run a bit further than they really think they can. The mind always gives up before the body. And I think that's a big part of it too, is do stop and walk if you need to, because you'll soon realize your body's perfectly fine more often than not, that it's just your mind telling you to slow down or to stop or that. But for me, yeah, it was over the 5k that was a bigger fear for me than the actual 5k. Like, I was always afraid of doing like the 10k or that. But I've gone for 8-9k runs, and I've always felt good when I come back. So I suppose I'm fit enough to do them. But yeah, I can understand the fear of going to do a longer run or that. Yeah. What about yourself? How do you fit into that? Do you have fears of doing a longer run? Or?
I would have been the same as yourself, Look, and I started off with the 5Ks, and I remember my fitness, like yourself, I play a bit of Gaelic. Depending on the time of the year, it was very difficult to either finish the 5K, or if it was close enough to pre-season or just after pre-season, the 5K felt like nothing. So I kind of stripped it back, started off with the 5Ks, and set out with the intention of either running 1K, running 2Ks, taking, say, a 200-meter break, 300-meter break, and then trying to finish all the way to the end, you know. For a lot of people, I found when I'm doing the Couch to 5K program that we run, I find a lot of them are well capable of running, but are afraid of being sore in the morning and think that it's a bad thing to be sore. I think ow pain is not good, but I think a bit of muscle stiffness means you pushed yourself and you've achieved something, which is what I'm trying, which is what you can only try to do as a coach, to get people up fit and running and healthy. In terms of the distance, especially a 5K, if anyone's doing a Couch to 5K program, they're 9 times out of 10 not much of a runner, or just a walker that's interested in getting running. Or some people like to do it to lose a bit of weight, but everyone has their own reasons. It's very broad running, because different things might work for different people, whether it's running 400 meters and taking a 200-meter break. Some people it's running for 60 seconds, taking 30 seconds break. It all depends on the person. I think it's very hard to find a balance, but when you do find something that works for you, stick with it and go with it. That's why we have certain different types of programs that we are pushing out on our Facebook page. With the Couch to 5Ks, we're doing timed ones, and we are also doing the distance ones for people who do wish to use them. But then moving on from the 5Ks, going up to the 10Ks, I was similar to yourself, a bit nervous about it, but I was lucky enough to get a partner that had run with me, that has done them sort of distance before, and Trina, who is in the sports centre here as well. She's the special needs inclusion officer, but she ran with me, and it was good because I got my pace. And I think if you're going for any sort of distance over 5K, having someone beside you, it breaks up the length of the run. You know, like if you're starting off with a 10K, you're looking at an hour, maybe a bit more. If you're going at a steady pace, you know, your 6-minute kilometer is a steady enough pace. Some people starting off are at 8-minute, 9-minute kilometers, you know. So it is a long time if you don't have someone beside you to even say, talk to for a second, or if you are able to control your breathing and you're able to go alongside them and keep each other going, you know.
Just on that point, Alan, about like finding it boring and things like that, or like, you know, the time of it, like, do you prefer to run with a partner for that, or would you prefer to listen to music? Or I know sometimes myself, even on a longer run, or when I do the odd 8 or 9K, I prefer to listen to a podcast or something rather than music, because I find I know how long a song is, so I kind of concentrate on how long the song is and know that's only 3 or 4 minutes, and that I still have another sort of long length of time to do. But I'm listening to a podcast, I find I don't know what's coming next, so I'm kind of just in tuned into that, and I find it's better for a longer run. I suppose probably it's the same for a conversation if you're running with someone. What way do you find that?
I prefer, in my opinion, I prefer running with someone, but obviously that's not possible all the time. You know, running with someone and having a conversation the whole way along about nothing, while running is great for your physical health, I believe that running with someone is great for your mental health, because you talk about random stuff and it clears your head and you're not worried about it. In terms of running alone, yeah, I do listen to podcasts sometimes. Sometimes I listen to music. I think sometimes you need music to keep you going, as some podcasts can be a bit slow, you know.
Yeah.
So if you have the right podcast, it's perfect for you.
Not this one, no. This one's
Not this
quick.
one, not this one. This is the perfect. If you find a perfect podcast that you're happy to listen to and it keeps you going and you're intrigued in it and it's caught your interest, yeah, definitely it's going to keep you going. Sometimes you need music. It's all about, once again, finding what's working for you. If you prefer podcasts, perfect. If you prefer music, if you prefer just running and listening to yourself breathing and clearing your head and listening to the birds and the cars going past, if you prefer that, more power to you, you know. But moving on a little bit from running, in terms of walking, Lorcan, I know you're RD based. What kind of walking routes? How often are you getting out for a walk? Are you busy with that?
Yeah, so regardless of whether I run or walk out during the day, I have kind of set myself a target of getting the bare minimum 10,000 steps in a day. So I find unless I go for a walk, I'm nowhere near getting that. Like I do a nice bit of gardening and cutting the lawn every 2 or 3 days. And like, you know, you're still quite a long way off your 10,000 steps, which is like the basic minimum that's recommended you have each day. So I find I go for a walk nearly every day. Lucky enough, where I am, I can pick 3 or 4 different routes of different varying lengths and sceneries. So
Yeah.
I live right on the edge of RD. So if I leave my house and go left, I'm into the countryside. If I go right, I go into the town. And just lucky enough in RD, we have a walk called the Railway Line Walk. It's the old railway track. Used to run into RD. So not sure exactly how long it is, but there's a couple of kilometers of track that you can just walk up and down. So it's quite nice to do, and then it kind of brings you into the centre of the town, so you're not too far away from anything. And then I was lucky enough that we can travel anywhere in the county now. I actually walked a good bit of the Carlingford Greenway yesterday, which was quite nice as well. Like that, I find on a walk more so than a run, I'd prefer to listen to a podcast or walk with somebody, because again, it makes the whole experience a lot quicker. You've more to think about, and it's something interesting to listen to. Again, obviously, if you're not at the podcast, so whatever, like, you know, or you don't want to talk to anyone, fine. But for me, again, I'd prefer to go with somebody or listen to a podcast, or uh, music's fine too. Like, I obviously listen to music as well. But yeah, on the longer walks, I like that. But again, it all depends on your preference and that. I'm quite a quick walker, so when I do walk with people, I always end up having to slow down or speed up with them. Yeah, pretty much. What about yourself? Do you get much walks in, or how's that going for you?
I'm trying, like yourself there, look, I'm trying to get out every day for a walk, you know. Um, Starting to come back in and out of work, but for a while there, it was constantly just in the house all day, every day, and it was getting a bit monotonous for myself. So I was taking the dog for a walk every day, at least once, maybe twice a day, depending on if the weather was nice. We were lucky enough there to have a good run there of about 2 weeks of lovely weather. So I was getting out twice a day, in the morning and the evening. And like yourself, Lorcan, there's so many different routes you can go. And now that the parameters of where you can go is spread, it's after multiplying your options tenfold, you know. There's lovely walks out to Blackrock there. You can go down to Navy Bank. You can go on up past St. Lena's Park, past the race course. There's that many different options now, just in terms of going out your front door and walking. You don't have to drive anywhere. And then, as you said, then you're able to go anywhere in your county now. And County Louth is a beautiful county when you go looking. So you can go for forest walks, anywhere along the rivers. So it's very lucky like that. So I'm trying to get out once a week, or once a day. So 7 times a week. So if I miss a day, I'll get out twice the next day, you know.
Yeah.
trying to keep myself busy and keep my mind busy as well. In terms of doing workouts at home now, I have been doing a couple of bodyweight workouts. I've been doing obviously the online class that we are putting out on our Facebook, YouTube page that anyone can take part in, the beginner's fitness. It's on its second week now, third week now, I think. But it'll obviously be keep putting out because it's the basic exercises that everyone should be able to do. There's always an easier option during it. But I am keeping myself busy in the terms of doing home workouts like that, especially bodyweight workouts, as I don't have a lot of equipment, as a lot of people in the world are and in the town are, that they don't have a lot of equipment. What about yourself in terms of home workouts? I know you said the Olympic rings in the last podcast. Are you still working away at them?
Yeah. So I just picked them up from a supplier. Like there's any amount of suppliers that provide gym equipment. All you have to do is Google them. So it was an Irish company, so I didn't have to wait that long. Got them in 3 or 4 days. So I just have them hanging in the shed. I'm lucky enough I have space for them. I use them for suspension training. So people are familiar with those TRX bands and those things you see hanging in the gym that you might never use.
Yeah.
I'm able to use the rings for all of that sort of exercises, so rows and suspended push-ups and dips and things like that, and then I can obviously use them for pull-ups, and then some more kind of gymnastic exercises and leg raises and stuff like that. But I do, as you said, I'm doing a lot of body weight exercises as well. So I actually follow a program from an English company called the School of Calisthenics at the minute. So they were providing a free beginner course. So I'd be well versed in kind of physical activity. I've studied it in college. I worked in a gym for years and working in the sports unit now. But it was nice to kind of go back to the basics of doing stuff. So like I've always been able to do pull-ups, but I've kind of went back and tore the whole way I do them down and do them completely differently now almost. Which is kind of nice to be able to do it again and feel how your muscles do it and things like that. And then obviously, I don't know if I mentioned in the last podcast as well, I've ambitions of doing a handstand, things like that. So
Yeah,
I've
so I
been
remember saying that, yeah.
following that as well. It's programmed into it that you're kind of doing the basic exercises for that too. So I've been trying going with that. I'm finding it enjoyable to kind of change the way I'm training. It's not exactly what I've been doing before. A lot of exercises are similar to what I would have done before, but they're not exactly the same, and different tempos and different sets and rep ranges and that. So like, I would have been used to going to the gym and doing anywhere from 3 sets to maybe 8 sets of exercises, depending on the rep ranges and weight and things like that. To now, basically, I've tore everything back down. I'm doing like 2 sets of 6 of slow and controlled exercises. At the minute, I've built it up to 3 sets of 6 or to 8 or 10 reps on some stuff. It was nice to kind of get back to basics and really like tear down everything I've been doing from push-ups to pull-ups to squats, things like that, to try and improve mobility and control and things like that. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on mostly at the minute. But like that's me. I've always been into doing physical exercise. For anyone that hasn't been, like, I suppose there's no harm in it. It was tough times. Everyone was feeling different. You can't be putting pressure on yourself to get out and motivate yourself. Like, it's hard to motivate yourself when you're at home and you have maybe nothing to look forward to. If you want to lose a few extra pounds, you're not going on holidays, you're not going out to the nightclub, or you're not going to probably be in a picture for a while. So there's no motivation there for a lot of people, and it's quite understandable, really. Like, I totally get that. What about yourself? Have you been feeling motivated to continue doing stuff, or?
Like everyone, I have days where I'm just you're just not in the mood of doing it. It's very hard to get motivated to do something in the same place you're supposed to relax. Do you know what I mean? If you're working out in your sitting room or different areas, kitchen or wherever people may be working out, it's very hard to get yourself motivated in somewhere that you're going to be relaxing in 5 minutes after you're finished exercising. Um, those days do come, and when they do come, it's you're just listening to your body. Get out, go for a walk, clear your head, because I find that if I sit there and do nothing the whole day, whenever I sit down at the evening time and I'm watching telly, I'm kind of more annoyed with myself that I've done nothing. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, wasted the day.
yeah, it's a day gone. You know, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're never going to get time back. Like, so hearing what you're saying there, going back, stripping down your basic core movements. I don't know whether you found this or not, but I have found that doing a basic exercise like a press up, as opposed to like going to a gym and doing chest press or bench press, I found that when I'm doing the push up, I'm more in touch with like the muscles. I kind of, you feel where your balance stays, where your shoulder needs to be. I feel like I've come more in touch with my upper body in terms of the movements that I'm doing. I don't know whether you feel that when you're doing your press ups or your pull ups.
Yeah, I felt it more so with pull-ups than press-ups. I was never very strong doing bench press or anything like that, but I always felt like stable when I was doing them and things like that. But yeah, I felt more so with my back. I find I don't be as smooth in my actions when I'm doing rows and things like that, or pull-ups with my back. I find it's more of a jarred kind of motion. So or like so that's why it's one of the things I try to focus on was pull-ups and getting maybe I suppose either a stronger back or more control over the movement. I focused a lot on mobility as well. A lot of the calisthenic stuff I was doing was focused around mobility as well, and being strong in different positions and getting forcing the body into or coaxing the body rather than sort of forcing it into positions it's not normally in and things like that. So deeper kind of squats or moving the body in a squatted position and or in a stretch position and things like that. I find that was quite nice to have time to get and do those things. Whereas when I found I was constant when you're working a 40-hour week and you've got GA training and games and then you've got other family and friend commitments, you kind of just say, right, well, I have to get everything done in the gym, and you're like, well, I need to be strong, or I need to lose these few pounds, or whatever it is. You've only got that hour and a half to do it, so you kind of don't focus on how I'm moving my body or how it feels when I move my body, and you just kind of get in and do everything as quick as you can almost, and get out and feel like, yeah, I did loads of work there, that was great, but you don't actually think, well, that probably wasn't that good for me, or I didn't. That didn't feel great, or I didn't really get that pump on my arms and my back that I really wanted to, and things like that. So it was kind of nice to be able to focus on how I'm moving and feel that, like, when I do that movement, yeah, that's the way it's meant to feel, and not like, well, I just did it and it's done now, so it doesn't really matter. Like, I
Yeah,
find it was nice. It's nice to have to slow the pace down, and you can actually take the extra time in your training and things like that.
yeah.
How
It's
did you find
funny you
that?
say that, the not feeling sore after a workout or not feeling like you got a pump. I find that that's probably the reason why I don't focus on the core bodyweight movements or the likes of yourself there with the rings, focusing on your pull-ups and different stuff. I think when you're in the gym, you're afraid of wasting a gym session. And by being afraid of wasting a gym session, you actually waste a gym session, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
Trying to get too much in as opposed to focusing on one area and making sure that you're actually working that area as hard as you possibly could. Toning up, strengthening up that area, whatever your goals are. Um, but I find that when you go in with too broad of an idea of what you want to do, you end up losing the whole session. So that's one thing now, that when I do come back to the gym, I'm going to have me set workout for each day and I'm going to stick to it, because usually I just kind of go in, I have a workout, and then I deviate from it. But that's one thing I'm going to stick to, actually sticking to the workout plan that I have for that day, making sure I go in, get all the reps done, and make sure they're good reps and not wasted reps. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, but obviously, the likes of myself and yourself are easily motivated for the gym. For, say, someone who's at home now at the minute, not really a member of a gym, I can't recommend enough just getting out, walking, running, cycling, even just doing a 15-minute, one round, 15-minute of a home workout. Obviously, we have our home workouts that you can take from the YouTube page and the Facebook page if you wish, but I can't recommend enough to be active. Lorcan, I know you're dealing more with adults over the age of probably 50, and the falls prevention classes. Is that something that you would recommend for people in general?
Yeah. Like, even if you're someone who doesn't know where to begin with working out or things like that, like as you say, walking, just get out and move. Like as I say, I'm well used to walking out and running and things like that, but I'm still trying to get those 10,000 steps. Like, that's the basics of what you should be doing. And that's one thing, if you don't know where to start, obviously you don't have to have a smartwatch. Most people will have smartphones, and there's an app in it that'll track a walk for you. So if you got out and went for a walk, you don't have to get to your 10,000 steps in that walk. But if you knew you got 4 or 5,000 steps in a walk, or even 2 or 3,000, you know it's more than you've normally done. So there's your start. Focus on that for a week. There's plenty of online, not competitions, challenges. I know there's a few charity ones in the Dundalk area going and things like that to try and get people to walk
Yeah,
or run 100k in the month. And why not set yourself a challenge of being able to walk 10k in a week? Like, you just start small and work from there. Or even just as you were saying, working with older adults, we have the balance class, and doing those videos that they're going up each week and each Friday. Um, just get on to that either. Like, it's somewhere to start. It's a basic class. It's just about strengthening the legs up and being confident in your balance. But for anyone else of a slightly younger age who thinks it's a bit slow, you've got great content there in the beginners home fitness class. It's about just getting in and moving. There's no exact point to start for anyone. And it's the same if you've been working out and playing sport for a long time, and you've been off for the last 4 months or whatever it's been, or you retired last year and you never really got to go to the gym because all the gyms closed and things like that. Just start somewhere. Just start walking. Like, there's no science to it. Any good instructor will tell you the best thing you can do is just begin to move. That's the honest answer, is begin to move somewhere, whether it's, right, I'm finally going to go out and do that bit of gardening, or I'm going to, do you know what, I've always wanted to walk down to the shops from here. Do that once a week for now, for the first couple of weeks, and then do a bit more. Or if there's a park around the corner from you, have you actually ever walked into the park from your house? Why not do it tomorrow? Like, whenever the weather's nice. It's
yeah,
kind of one of those things. There's no definite starting line. It's just start when you can start and just move. That's basically it. That's the only advice I can give to anyone if they haven't started yet, is just walk, look up a video and set 10 minutes aside to do that workout.
yeah,
That's the best advice, I suppose, for anyone.
yeah. And as you said there, setting yourself an easily attainable target, like
Yeah,
10,000 kilometers or 10 kilometers in a week is very attainable. It's 2 kilometers a day for 5 days and 2 rest days in the middle, 2 days where you don't get a chance to go for a walk. It's more than attainable, and it's a great starting point for anyone who is interested or is wary about where to start. Just getting out, fresh air, get your legs moving, get them used to working, and it's the best starting point for anyone just starting moving. Obviously, adults need to be active, but more importantly, some children need to be active. They're sitting at home on tablets and playing PlayStations and different stuff. Um, I know I tried a few of the games that Foo has up on Facebook. Um, so if anyone's looking for them, they're all there. In terms of keeping children active, is there any recommendations you have outside of just having them sitting in the houses?
yeah. Well, I know. Look, it's a hard thing, I suppose, to get kids away from tablets and TVs and consoles and things. But kids have a far better imagination than any adult. So if you get them into the garden, ask them what they want to do and just go along with it. obviously as long as it's safe and things like that. We have plenty of content there to incorporate if you want to. And again, there's probably plenty of other stuff on YouTube that you can, games and things you can do. But I know from mine and my own nephew at times, he has a great imagination like most kids, and whether the game mightn't be that active or whatever, just still outside and moving around, and that's kind of again the basics of it. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of setting a goal for your child just to be moving, like just to get outside and move. And if you're someone who's not moving that much as well, it can obviously benefit you as well. Just to be walking around the garden or down to the park and just running after them, just
Yeah.
anything like that. Even just as simple as taking a ball and rolling it on the ground to each other, or throwing it, things like that. It's just the basics. Like your kids are going to be happy enough to do the basics. You don't have to wow them with any big games or big pieces of equipment. Most kids are happy enough just to spend time with their parents and
Yeah.
be silly. It's
Yeah.
the best thing to do.
So I think overall our guidelines is to make sure you're doing something rather than nothing.
Yeah.
So anything's better than sitting on the couch, in terms of exercising. If you're out, you're walking, if you even take the child for a cycle, if it's 10-15 minutes, it's 10-15 minutes away from the tablets or the computers or whatever they've been doing, where they've been actually out active, burning off some of the sweets or the dinners or the breakfast that they've been eating, and it's keeping them happy as well. As you said, one of the most important things that I think is going to come from this whole quarantine phase is children are going to have so many memories of, do you remember that summer that you were with us all the time and talking to their parents and stuff? But Lorcan, thanks for joining me. Until next time, I'll see you soon.